Okay, as far as the guys that won't practice today, Tooney won't practice with his ankle. It is getting better, but he won't practice today. And then Kadarius won't practice with a hamstring. Everybody else is scheduled to practice. We made some moves here. So Clyde goes on to IR, and then he's got a pretty good high ankle sprain there, so he'll be on IR. And then you saw where we brought Blanton back to the practice squad. We put Jordan Franks on the practice squad injured list. He's got a broken hand that happened in practice. And then Yang was activated to the 53. All right, so a couple moves there took place. We look forward to playing the challenge of playing the Rams, and we know they're a good football team, talented. They've had a couple injuries here and there, but they're well coached, and they're a good football team. So we've got to have a good week of practice starting today, and make sure that we cover all the base on a little bit different week because of Thanksgiving. We shortened down tomorrow a bit, so the fellows can enjoy their family and friends for Thanksgiving. And then happy Thanksgiving, so I don't forget, happy Thanksgiving to you and the fans. So, all right, with that, time's yours.
Coach, smith-schuster, has he officially been cleared from the concussion protocol? And happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yeah, thank you. I think he has to, for it to be official, has to go through a practice. So he'll go through that. He is feeling better.
Andy, there's a lot of season left, and I don't know how much you play this game and going into a season, but are you at all, would Andy Reid in August have been surprised by what you've seen your team do to this stage of the season?
Yeah, well, there were some unknowns because we hadn't been through games with some of the guys. But as it went on, I could see if we continue to improve like we were, that we would be okay. Seems like every game's a battle, but that's this league right now. There are more games determined by one score or less, than any year in the history of the game. So I mean, that's the way it is. But I'm pleased. But like you said, Vi, the most important thing there is we got a lot of season left.
And one of those things, when you have so many close games, I mean, sometimes you can feel like that's a sign of vulnerability, but obviously the more you do it, the more you seem to flex that muscle. I mean, does that start to become a thing where it's ingrained in you with this particular team?
Well, listen, I mean, they expect to do well. I mean, that's but there's another group over there that thinks the same way. And so on the other side of the ball that they think they're going to do well. So you've got to go through the whole process of what we're doing right now to get ready for the Rams. You got to go through the whole process today, tomorrow, and up to the game, and then you have to have the energy to go play. And it's an emotional sport, so the emotional part of it, and narrow some of those human errors that take place.
And you just wanted to check on Thornhill. He's working today?
Yeah, so Thornhill is going to work. We're going to see, but he thought he would be able to get some stuff done there.
Conversely, with the Rams, coming off the Super Bowl and now they're 3-7, you guys have always been able to avoid the couple Super Bowls you had, not having the hangover and having a good season. Just what do you see out of the Rams? That's just it's because it's not the game that many people expected at the beginning of the year that this would be.
Yeah, well, they've had change to the team, and then injuries. That's those things happen. So, and that's not something they planned on happening, right? So, but that's kind of what I see. With where they're at. That, but at the same time, 99, 54, 5. I mean, these guys haven't changed, and their quarterback is banged up. But whether he plays or doesn't play, they've got good backups there. They've got good receivers and O-line. So, you got to get yourself ready.
And Lucas's injury was pretty significant, and it occurred earlier this calendar year. What does it say about his sort of rehab and
Yeah.
What did you figure out? What did you feel like you guys figured out that helped him maybe get back sooner rather than later?
You know, listen, he worked his tail off, and then he lost some weight, which coming off a leg injury, that's important. You know, so but I just tell you, his work ethic is, you know, something that got him to this point. I'm working with our trainers, that helps too. They do a good job with the rehab part.
We haven't talked to Lucas yet, but do you have like a idea of how much weight he lost over this time period?
A couple Twinkies worth. I don't know exactly. Yeah, I do, but I'm not going to put it out there.
Yeah, but enough to know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Coach, I know these questions kind of drive you crazy, but I think by my count, it's 24 in a row that you guys have won in November and December. What can you put your finger on? Is there something about, you know, the process that you're doing right now, or anything about this team in particular that just makes them so good this time of year?
Yeah. Listen, I think we have good players, good locker room, coaches that are willing to work, and you know, I mean that combination normally does well. I mean, but it's everybody. It's not one thing we're doing. It's everybody involved. I mean, you see what Brett and his crew have done by bringing people in. They're constantly replenishing and bringing guys in that can play and help us. So that's part of it. You know, the way Clark sets up the organization for us to be able to do those things. I mean, that's important. So I mean, everybody's got a piece. I can go through. Except Ted, he doesn't do anything.
They know that.
Coach, it seems like Chris Jones has, you know, he's been consistently dominant for years, but he's even taken a further step this year. What have you seen from him that maybe has led to that?
And again, he's another guy that's the last couple of years has just really put in the extra time in the off season. He goes down when he's not here. He goes down to Florida and busts his tail, and so he's in really good shape. He comes to camp in good shape. That's not necessarily how it was when he was younger. He was quite a bit bigger than heavier than what he is now. But he's always in the weight room now. He's always running and doing his stuff there. So conditioning wise.
Coach, with Edward Delaire now on injured reserve, opportunity knocks for Ronald Jones.
Sure.
What do you need to see out of him these next 3 practices before determining if he's up on Sunday?
Yeah, just really, it's just an opportunity to get in and work, literally. So and there's a chance he has a chance to play. So I mean, legitimate chance, Harvey. So, but within that, he's got to make sure he has all the protections down and the timing of the runs. I mean, those are things we'll look at. But he's been working at it, and I don't think he should have a problem with that.
You guys have mentioned the patience for Isaiah Pacheco. Have you seen progress, especially these last 2 games, in him kind of?
I thought more of this last game. Yeah, I thought he really handled himself well, and you know, it did show that for sure.
Andy, probably not a lot of teams playing 4 rookies in the secondary. Do you credit what you've seen from the production to the system and the guys you brought in? What do you sort of look at there?
Yeah, well, good players. So again, and part of that's Brett bringing in these guys, doing his homework, his whole crew, and then you know, Dave does a nice job with them. Merritt, Donald does a nice job with the safeties there. Spags is, you know, that's kind of his baby. The secondary is. So he sees it and works with those guys. He'll take an individual guy while David's doing and Donald are doing the bunch. He'll grab one guy and go work with them. So they're getting the attention they need as long as they retain what they're being taught. But they seem to be hardworking, and most of all, I think that it's a smart group. They kind of get it, and that's helped them.
Not to slide any other position, but do you feel like that's one of the hardest positions to make that transition to the NFL as a rookie and play right away?
Now there's a lot of space that they've got to cover in techniques, and then you hope they learn. Like we've seen it with 23 Williams the whole season. Something happens, and then he fixes that issue, So he's diligent about it and works on it at practice. He had another great experience the other day where 13, seasoned veteran gets him, and then he'll learn from that. And 35's going through the same thing. He's Watson's the same thing. He beat on a slant. He'll learn how to take care of that, or a shallow cross route. And all these things, these guys, they're able to. Okay, you got me once, but you're not going to get me the next time. I'm going to learn from this, which is a tribute to the kids and their attention to the detail there.
Last one, Matt.
Coach, the league's doing quite a bit to recognize and celebrate John Madden tomorrow and
Yeah.
this weekend. When you think about Madden and Thanksgiving, what do you think about him? What did he mean to you?
Yeah. Turduncan. I mean, you think about Turduncan. I still have my Turduncan in the freezer in tribute to him. I'm debating on stuffing it. So, he was my guy. I mean, I appreciate everything he did for me, and just a good human being, and for the game. I mean, think of what he did for football, for our jobs in here, right? The things you guys do for TV. I mean, it's phenomenal. All the change he did, and then as a coach, Hall of Fame coach. So, great job.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Good.